It was a time of uncertainty, an era dominated by the Showtime Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics. But in the heart of Detroit, a new force was brewing, a team that would change the way the game of basketball is played and forge their own path. Our story begins in the early 80s with the Detroit Pistons, a struggling franchise with a lackluster reputation, sought out a new identity. They found it in the form of Coach Chuck Daly, a mastermind who envisaged a squad that would challenge the norms of the NBA. The team wasn't built overnight. It took shrewd drafting and astute trades to assemble this unique group of misfits and cast-offs who relished the opportunity to prove their doubters wrong. Daly, along with general manager Jack McCloskey, wanted players with distinct personalities and skills that, when combined, formed a formidable force. Led by Isaiah Thomas, the fearless leader, Bill Laimbeer, the enforcer, and Dennis Rodman, the eccentric rebounding machine, now dubbed the Bad Boys, embraced a physical, no-nonsense style of play, a style that would earn them both admiration and enmity.
We were not ready for the Detroit Pistons at that point in time. They were more physical than us. They were the aggressors.
However, it wasn't just their unruly defense that defined them. The team's offensive firepower, from Joe Dumars and microwave Vinnie Johnson, showcased their versatility and championship pedigree. Through toughness and resilience, the Bad Boys transformed the game that we all have grown to love. They didn't just guard the rim, they guarded their turf like fierce protectors. Their defense strategy, known as the Jordan Rules, aimed to neutralize the league's brightest stars, including the future GOAT himself.
I was getting brutally beaten up, and I want to administer pain. I want to start, fighting back.
I put it in just to get myself physically strong enough to go against Detroit.
Opponents faced a wall of beasts prepared for war. Their defense was suffocating. They swarmed their opponents, jostling and challenging every shot, leaving them battered and bewildered.
They proved that style could win.
Right.
And they won with it, and so give them credit. And they, to me, one of the greatest teams as well, because defensively, I don't know if we've seen a better team than the Pistons.
The art of pushing the limits was now perfected, both physically and mentally, to gain an edge over their competitors. Aggressive tactics, hard fouls, and strategic intimidation became their trademarks, earning them a reputation as the league's most fearsome team.
Physical intimidation is important in sports. Like when the guy comes across the middle in football, you try to take his head off, and he's gonna think about it. When we played the Pistons a few years ago, you weren't worrying about how many points of rebound you were gonna get. You were wondering which way I was gonna hit you next. And it won championships, and that's the bottom line.
The Bad Boys' path to greatness created intensive rivalries. The most notable among them were with the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers, two storied franchises that stood in the way of their championship aspirations. As the 80s turned into the 90s, the Bad Boys era reached its peak. Because of their gritty style, they were often overlooked and dismissed, but they used that criticism as fuel, the driving force that would get them that coveted ring. Their journey to the NBA Finals was paved with sweat and blood.
How does a nice-looking young guy goes to Notre Dame, bright student, has a clever and interesting college career, suddenly become one of the bad boys of the NBA?
Well, I have a job to do for a ball club, and my job is to win the game. I'm also the biggest guy we have on our team, so it's my job to step up and to protect our players and myself. And sometimes it gets a little bit carried away, but that's my job. So you have to get out there and bang and be physical, or you're going to get beat.
Despite falling to the Lakers in the '88 Finals, the Bad Boys would reach the pinnacle of success in '89 and '90, a feat that only a selected few can claim, capturing consecutive NBA championships. Their gritty determination and unrelenting teamwork propelled them to victory against formidable adversaries. They outmuscled the Los Angeles Lakers in 1989 and overcame the talented Portland Trail Blazers in 1990, showcasing their resilience and never-say-die attitude.
Well,
While the Bad Boys basked in the glory of being back-to-back champions, the NBA landscape had begun to change. The league sought to reduce the excessive physicality and promote a more fan-friendly, high-scoring style of play. The 1990-1991 season marked an end of the era for the Motley Crew. After years of dominance, their reign came to a bittersweet close. In a hard-fought Eastern Conference Finals series, they faced the rising force of Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls, fueled by their previous playoff defeats, sought revenge, defeating them in 4 games. But as the final seconds fell off the clock, no one could imagine what would happen next. While the Bulls were putting the final nail in the coffin, you could see the badly bruised so-called Bad Boys sneaking off the court with heads hanging low and tails tucked.
As time runs down, Pistons wasting no time in getting out of here. Now a timeout was called. They left the bench, although there's 7 and 9/10 seconds remaining. The Pistons just left. That's a three-pointer.
Around the league will rejoice that this is the end of dirty basketball.
I hope so, except for Detroit. I mean, you saw what type of class they had in terms of walking off the court in defeat.
That walk-off, with seconds still left on the clock, only solidified their bad boy mentality, a title that would haunt them for years to come. The Pistons' Bad Boys' unapologetic style of play came at a price. They were often labeled as dirty players and faced intense scrutiny from fans, the media, and even rival teams.
Let me tell you something. Those guys are out there trying to hurt people. Those guys are out there. I used to always tell people, when you were going to play the Pistons, you got to call home and tell your family you love them just in case you never saw them again. Like, they were out there really trying to hurt people.
But they remained undeterred, believing that winning was the ultimate goal, regardless of the means. Their actions stirred controversy and ignited passionate debates about the ethics of basketball. The league's new rules aim to protect players and encourage a faster-paced, more skill-based game. The Bad Boys struggled to adapt, gradually fading from the spotlight, and by the mid-90s, their era was officially over. Despite the polarizing opinions surrounding them, the Bad Boys' impact on the NBA cannot be denied. They left an indelible mark on basketball history, inspiring future generations of players to adopt a fierce and tenacious approach. They rewrote the rulebooks, revolutionizing the game itself. The league, forced to adapt, implemented rule changes and crafted new strategies to combat the unbridled physicality that had been unleashed on the world. Their legacy marks a seismic shift in the game's DNA. Thank you for joining us on this thrilling journey down memory lane. And remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content just like this. And we'll see you all again real soon.